A few weeks ago I made a video about getting on in life, being 70, and I never thought old age would feel like this. Now basically inside I'm still the big bloody kid that I was when I was younger, but I've come to realise that even though the mind is willing, the body is weak. And a lot of things have changed in my general attitude to things. The things that I believe in, the things that I used to worry about and get stressed about, and now I just don't care about. And they come about by, well, basically the life I've lived. So we're going to talk about some of those things today. Now, I left school at 15 because I'm at an age when people left school at 15. Very, very few stopped on and did an extra year and then perhaps went to university and things like that. I didn't. I left school and I went straight in the army at 15. I was 15 in September. The following Easter I left school, and 2 weeks later my mum and dad put me on a train in Retford. I went down to London, got off the train there, went across London on the tube, got on another train down to Dover, and I was in Junior Leaders Regiment, Royal Engineers, at Dover, Old Park Barracks. Now, when I look at 15-year-olds nowadays, I think majority of them would be really, really struggling to do something like that. And as a 15-year-old then, we were more adult than 15-year-olds are now. Is that right? I don't know. Yeah, I think so. I think we were more grown up than 15-year-olds now. We certainly weren't as mollycoddled, or the majority of us wasn't. Anyway, there's things that happen when you're in the forces that change you. It makes you a different person to somebody who's never been in the forces. And one of the things that I found when I first went in as a boy at Dover, there were kids there that were the age ranged from 15 up to 18. So there were quite a bit of bullying, and this was one of the things that made me hate bullies. The older kids would bully the younger kids, clean my kit, clean my boots and all the rest of it, and I used to tell them to fuck off. And they threatened to give me a knuckle butty and a good hiding, and I just said, I know where you sleep, mate. Don't be surprised if you do give me a good hiding that 3 o'clock in the morning someone's beating you round the head with a broom handle. So generally they left me alone. But ever since then I've had a hatred of bullies. I left the boys' service. I was about 17 and 3 months and went in the regular army. Now, I was always determined to go airborne. I always wanted to jump out of aeroplanes and stuff like that. But I had some other training to finish. I had my bridging training to finish and my engineering training to finish and everything else. I wasn't very keen on the boys' service because of the bullying and things like that. So I had a word and managed to go into the regulars early. You're not supposed to go in until you're 17 and a half. And I was below 17 and a half. But anyway, that's another story. So, I went and finished my engineering training. And then I had to do my trade training, which I went down to Chatham to do. And believe it or not, I did painting and decorating. And that's why I hate painting and decorating. I really do. What made me do painting and decorating, I've no pigging idea. But anyway, I turned 18, and I'd just turned 18, and they sent us to Ireland. Now, in the early 70s, it was absolutely chaos in Ireland. We'd not long had Bloody Sunday, and everybody hated us, or so I thought. It turned out one day we were doing a vehicle checkpoint in Belfast, and what you used to do is you used to have a couple of blokes at one end, a couple of blokes at the other, and then some people in the middle that were stopping the vehicles and searching them. And I was one of the outriggers, and we'd been there about 4 or 5 hours, so we were making ourselves a right target. And, you know, I'm stood there, bored shitless, and then all of a sudden I heard bang, 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 bang. And I turned round, there's some guy poking an AK-47 round the corner, taking pot shots at us. And I dived behind this wall and, you know, and he legged it, and that was more or less the end of it. But I got an adrenaline buzz. um, yeah, okay, you know, when somebody's shooting at you or in your direction, yeah, you get scared. But boy, when that adrenaline kicks in, well, for me anyway, I were like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It was like so exciting, but so scary as well. Anyway, um, while they're searching for where the rounds had hit, I'm laid in this guy's front garden. I had moved and it got a privet edge one side and a privet edge the other side, and you know the old-fashioned metal posts with a metal gate there, and the gate's open, and I'm laid on his footpath looking up and down the road. And all of a sudden the door behind me opened, and I thought, shit, here we go. Somebody's going to open the door, uh, take a shot at me, and then leg it back through the house. But instead, this, this old fella stuck his head round the door and he said, "Do you want a cup of tea?" I said, "Yeah, go on, mate, cheers." So 3 or 4 minutes later, he come out with this tray, probably the best china, cup, saucer, and a plate with some biscuits on. And the cup was only half full of tea. I thought, "Oh, you skinny bugger. You've only given me half a cup of tea." And then he pulled it flask out, topped it up with whiskey for me. And I'm laid there in January, like everybody's freezing the tits off. I'm laid there on this concrete slab, freezing my tits off, and this old guy's fetching me a cup of tea out with some whiskey in and some biscuits. And it just goes to show you that, you know, you've got these people that were absolutely wonderful, and 10 minutes later you got somebody that were bloody shooting at you. It was absolutely crazy. But, you know, these things happen. And then as soon as I was 18, I went for selection for Airborne, and I went to Peer Company to do the parachute selection course. And I tell you what surprised me: there were people there that were fitter than me, that could run further and faster than me with the same amount of equipment on, and they couldn't complete the selection. You know, they were dropping out like flies, and I come to realise that it's not how fit and how strong you are, it's what's in here. You know, that mental attitude of, I'm willing to keep going, I'm willing to keep working at it, and I'm not going to give up. And I refuse to give up. And yeah, I got through it. It was difficult, but I got through it, and did a few years airborne. I then went to another country and joined their regular army, and went through a selection that was, I'm not going to say infinitely more difficult, but definitely a lot more difficult. Did that selection, and I did nearly 5 years frontline service in Rhodesia, which is Zimbabwe, and that changed me like you've never known. And when that had finished, I did a few more years army service. But the military changes people. It changes them, and it made me like, I don't care anymore. You know, I'm here. If I have another day, I have another day. If I don't have another day, if my bad heart gives up on me and I'm dead, tomorrow my worries are over. The only people that have got worries are the people that are left behind me. It's probably a horrible thing to say, but yeah, that's what the army does to people. You know, it doesn't do it to everybody, but it does it to a lot of people. Just because you've survived the war doesn't mean you'll survive the peace. Look at all these lads that have been in Afghanistan and they're struggling now. They survived the war, but they're not surviving the peace. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say. I will try and do another video a lot quicker than I've done this one. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, please share, please subscribe, and guess what? I will see you in the next one. Bye everybody. I'll see you soon.